Oh, well, now it all makes sense. Let's discuss. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another coffee rant with Dano and Frank, our Patriot Bald Eagle. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Everybody remember the boar's head? I will never buy boar's head meat again. Ever. And after you hear this, you probably won't either. This is their head plant, okay? Remember a few weeks ago when the listeria thing broke out, we actually had some people that have passed away from the deadly listeria outbreak. Well, it is all over the news now, and we are going to discuss it. Repent, and thou shalt be saved. Apparently they are. They have come out. Investigations have been done. Well, actually, I don't know if they came out and said anything. From the looks of this, it looks like they haven't said anything for a long time. And I guess my question is where have all the daggone health inspectors been? Is this what it takes? Does it take an outbreak like this and poor working conditions? I got to be careful, guys, because I don't want to shout out any expletives here. I especially don't want to have to edit this video. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to tell you right now, this is going to get kind of sickening. This is kind of disgusting. Actually, it's very disgusting. Okay, so if you're a little squeamish, or if you're eating dinner right now, you may want to wait until after dinner, because this is absolutely disgusting and a little terrifying. A little terrifying. This is beyond accident. Okay? Or, I don't know. We're going to get into it here. CBS News. I'm reading from CBS News, but it is everywhere. I read a little bit from Washington Post. Read some from the New York Post. Just a couple other articles of different things. And there are some other things that CBS News. Now, this came out yesterday. There's actually a little more, but I want to read through this one first. So be ready, okay? We're about to go over this. I'm just telling you right now, this is actually a very lot disgusting. Bugs, mold, and mildew found in Boar's Head plant linked to deadly listeria outbreak, as CBS News says here. Inspectors turned up dozens of violations at a Boar's Head plant in Virginia. Now I do believe this is their main plant. I believe it is. Dozens of violations at a Boar's Head plant in Virginia now linked to a nationwide recall of deli meats, according to new records released by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, including mold, mildew, and insects repeatedly found throughout the site. Now, I'm going to wait to go over the next disgusting thing. That's going to be in the next article, okay? And it even makes me a little sick here. I loved Boar's Head. Not no more. I am done. I may never eat deli meat again. I don't know, but guys, these recalls and everything has just gotten way out of control. I had to go over this. Some of you had emailed me this, and I was just in complete shock. I've been reading these articles all afternoon for you guys, and myself, and Jess, and everybody else who I'm going to tell about this, because this is absolutely insane. Last month, Boar's Head recalled all of the deli meats made at its plant in Jarrett, Virginia. We did not know that. We didn't know it was the plant in Jarrett, Virginia, and we didn't know that they recalled all of the deli meats at this specific plant. We were only given a few different ones. After a listeria outbreak was blamed to products distributed from this facility. The outbreak has grown to 57 hospitalizations. That's doubled. We said it was going to be a lot higher. We knew it was. These things always... Anyway, in 18 states now. So that's grown. It's completely grown. In 18 states linked to recalled products from this plant, at least 9 deaths have been reported, including 2 in South Carolina, 1 in Illinois, New Jersey. We knew about the 1 in Illinois, New Jersey. 2 in South Carolina, Virginia, Florida, Tennessee, New Mexico, and New York. So it is all over. It is all over. And probably all over for Boar's Head. And it should be. This is unacceptable. Quote, this is the largest listeria outbreak since the 2011 outbreak linked to cantaloupe. And the thing is yeah, I remember back when we were talking about that. We had another cantaloupe scare about 7 or 8 months ago, and I'm surprised they didn't mention that in this, but maybe because it wasn't as bad. I don't know, but this is bad. The CDC and Prevention said Wednesday that it's the worst since 2011, linked to the cantaloupe. Samples from unopened products distributed from the Boar's Head plant were found by authorities in multiple states to be contaminated with the bacteria Listeria. Genetic sequencing linked the bacteria from the products to the strain driving the outbreak. People are urged to double check their fridges for the recalled meats and to clean any surfaces that might have touched them. Quote, consumers who were unaware of the recall may have eaten recalled products. Yeah. People may also have a prolonged course of illness, end quote. A spokesperson for South Carolina's health department said in a statement following the new deaths. Records released by the USDA's Food Safety and Inspection Service to CBS News through a Freedom of Information Act request tally 69 records of, quote, non-compliances, end quote, flagged by inspectors over the past year at the Jarrett plant. How did they get away with this? How? I don't know. And this is happening more and more, guys. More and more. This said dirty conditions at that one Quaker plant we discussed like a year ago that was spreading salmonella. They narrowed it down to that Quaker Oats plant. We still don't see those granola bars showing up on the shelves. Some of them, but I mean, most of them are still wiped out. Kroger still leaves those spaces open. I guess thinking someday they might return. I don't know, guys. I just don't know anymore. While the service is ultimately responsible for overseeing day-to-day operations at the plant, a spokesperson for the agency said Thursday it was relying on staff from Virginia, not USDA employees, to man the site. Shocking that this happens when you don't do what you really should be doing. The agency is now working with the state to, quote, ensure the establishment has an effective system in place to produce safe food for the public. Should I feel safe anymore knowing that the negligence of all this and who knows? FSIS has suspended, this is quoted, FSIS has suspended inspection at the Boar's Head establishment in Jarrett, Virginia, which means that it remains closed until the establishment is able to demonstrate it can produce safe product, end quote, as FSIS spokesperson said in a statement. It's unclear whether Boar's Head will face any penalties by the USDA for the repeat issues. Reports published by the agency so far show no, quote, enforcement actions, end quote, taken against the company in the past year. The agency spokesperson said that Boar's Head, quote, implemented corrective actions in keeping with FSIS regulations. Did you just fill out the paperwork right and learn how to sign your name? Is that what this is? Because let's go back here. Let's go back a paragraph or two. Very unhealthy work conditions. Oh, and when I go into this next thing here after this article, that's what's going to really make you sick. And I'm sorry, but we have to talk about it. So, quote, as a USDA inspected food producer, the agency has inspectors in our Jarrett, Virginia plant every day, and if at any time inspectors identify something that needs to be addressed, our team does so immediately. Well, then, that kind of contradicts the last thing you said, didn't it? I don't know. I don't know. We have to take all of this with a grain of salt, guys. And I'm a little, frustrated by it all. There could be things that change within all this stuff, too, and our team does so immediately. If something that needs to be addressed, our team does so immediately, as was the case with each and every issue raised by USDA in this report, company spokesperson Elizabeth Ward said. All operations have been suspended at the Jarrett plant, Ward said, and the company is working to disinfect the plant and retrain employees. No product will be released from the plant until, quote, until it meets the highest quality and safety standards, end quote. Quote, during this time, we have partnered with the industry's leading global food safety experts to conduct a rigorous investigation to get to the bottom of the events leading to this recall, end quote, said Ward. Yeah, you better, because there's 9 deaths from this, and hopefully not growing anymore. 50-something hospitalizations is no joke either. That means that probably, if I had to guess, I would say probably thousands and thousands of people have eaten boar's head and nothing has happened. Okay, and maybe you got a cold and you thought maybe it was something else, right? But I don't know. We're going to skip ahead a little bit here. Beyond issues like paperwork lapses, wow, we called that one, and leftover meat on equipment, the records show inspectors faulted Boar's Head several times for mold or mildew building up around the company's facilities in Jarrett. In July, federal inspectors found what looked to be mold and mildew around the hand-washing sinks for the workers tasked with meats that are supposed to be ready to eat. Mold was also found building up outside of steel vats used by the plant, previous records show, as well as in holding coolers between the site's smokehouses. How does this happen? Excuse me. Quote, oh yeah, here we go. Quote, a black mold, meaning the worst kind, like substance was seen throughout the room at the wall, concrete junction, as well as some caulking around brick and metal, end quote. They're going to have to tear this building down. They're going to have to destroy this building, and if they ever want to see business in this building again, in my opinion, they have to rebuild it. Trash every employee that you've had that was supposed to be checking on this. And possibly management too, because management needs to follow up on these things. They need to walk around and be like, that should be completely clean. I mean, it should look like, you're processing meat for the masses here. Cleaning processes need to be rigorous, like they kind of hint on, but obviously weren't. Other locations were found to have a number of issues with leaking or pooling water, so that's negligence, because that's something you would see all the time, including a puddle found to have a, quote, green algae growth, end quote, so it's probably been sitting for a long time inside, and condensation that was found to be, quote, dripping over product being held. You just can't make this stuff up, guys. You really can't. I mean, this sounds like a horror story. No, it sounds like I sound like I'm going. This is like the beginning to like a movie of like Leatherface or Texas Chainsaw Massacre, right? Oh, okay. After inspectors flagged one of the leaks to the company, workers tried to mop up the leaks. Quote, the employee wiped a third time and the leaks returned within 10 seconds, end quote. Inspectors wrote after one condensation issue was raised on July 27th near fans that looked to be blowing the liquid onto uncovered deli meats. I'm drinking original Donut Shop coffee tonight. I needed something a little more mellow for this one, but oh goodness, this is going to get really disgusting, guys, okay? This is the part, okay? This is the part. It's hard for me to even read. I know you guys are probably watching this right after dinner, so hopefully you have an iron stomach. And let me say this too. Because of this, I personally will never buy boar's head. I don't buy much boar's head meat anyway. Okay. I usually get private selection if we get deli meats, or I'll get, usually, Meijer has pretty good deli meats. Meijer does. And I feel like I can trust boar's head, guys. I mean, who would have ever thunk it? Who would have ever thought this? I will never buy boar's head again. Ever. In February, here we go, okay? In February, an inspector found, now this is February. In February, an inspector found, quote, ample amounts of blood in puddles on the floor and a, quote, rancid smell throughout a cooler used at the plant. Guess they ran out of bleach. A number of records also flag sightings of insects in and around deli meats at the plant, including one instance that prompted the agency to tag more than 980 pounds of ham in a smokehouse hallway to be, quote, retained, end quote, for investigation. In June, sorry if I'm being loud, guys. I'm passionate about this. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. This is ridiculous. We're better than this, or at least I thought we were. In June, another record flagged concerns over flies going in and out of, quote, vats of pickle, end quote, left by boar's head in a room. Quote, small flying gnat-like insects were observed crawling on the walls and flying around the room. The room's walls and heavy meat buildup, they wrote, end quote. Other parts of the facility were also found to have bugs, including what looked to be, quote, ants traveling down the wall, end quote, as well as a beetle and a cockroach. Why didn't we extend the quote there? Boy. And then they actually have the list, or they have the report here by the United States Department of Agriculture, Food Safety, and Inspection Service of what is going on and the dates to match. This is, oh boy. Yeah, there's a non-compliance report. These are the reports, okay. Wow, why weren't they shut down months ago? Oh my goodness, report after report after report. What is going on? Okay. Wow. Okay, you can look at all this stuff yourself. I'm not going into this stuff because this is some scary stuff right here. Some of this is the different recalls, I guess. CBS News, if you want to check it out. I'm sure this is everywhere as well. That ends this website. I wanted to talk about the bloody puddles, from everything in the plant. You expect to find some blood in places. It's a meat plant, right? It's a meat. But, I mean, not on the floors of the refrigerator rooms and the gnats and the bugs and oh my God, what is going on with our world, guys? Oh, we're just going to talk about this for a second. I'm not going to go into the other sites. Feel free to do so, though, please. They all talk about the same thing, pretty much. I like the way CBS News broke it down. Plus, they had actually talked with somebody, so that was good to see. Yeah, guys, I don't know. I when I said I thought it was going to get bigger than this, I didn't think it was going to get this big. Because of your negligence, you are the cause of 9 deaths and 57 hospitalizations so far, scattered out across 18 states. Because of your negligence, these families have to deal with the loss of their loved ones from all this, from eating a damn sandwich. It's sickening, guys. It makes me mad. And I'll tell you what, I don't know, but things need to change. We've talked about trusted names, right? We've talked about trusted products. We are seeing the trusted products being the dirt. Quaker Oats. Quaker. Remember? Those of you who've been on the channel for a long time remember us talking about Quaker Oats, and I was like, man, this is the trusted name. This is the constant. If you were to put on a list of places that you trust with, food and not having to worry about it, Quaker would have been top of my list. I've trusted Quaker, and I guess you say you can't trust. I say I trust Kroger, right? I know what goes on at Kroger. I know of their rigorous testing. I know their labs. I know that they are on top of this. I have friends that have worked throughout Kroger, the main plant, and different, I know how their laboratories work and stuff. I know that they know what they're doing. I don't know anything about Boar's Head. I know that it was maybe a trusted name, good quality. Maybe it's because of the extra aged fly on the wall. I don't know where I'm going with that. I just, I really, guys, with Quaker, when we were talking about this a year ago, I thought to myself, I was like, everything needs to change. If these places aren't getting inspected rigorously, I mean, these are things that that you trust to buy, putting in your homes, feeding to you and probably your children and whoever else is coming over with your salami roll-ups and ham, making appetizers. Got the ham, the good ham, right, from Boar's Head. Not no more. Not no more. I will never buy it again. Ever. I don't care if it's the only deli meat left. I will make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I don't know. I don't know, guys. This one really bothered me. I've been reading about this all day. I didn't even know if I was going to be able to do a video on this. I really was like, I am tired of the doom and gloom of things, but I have got to let everybody know what is going on and how bad it's getting with Boar's Head and some other companies. We need to continue to be checking everything. We need to make sure. Somebody made a joke the other day. I'm not joking. You got to check the daggone websites every day to make sure when you go to the store that you make sure there's no recall. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to spoil some for tomorrow's video. Okay. I went to Walmart today. There was a lot of things I wanted to check out on some different food. Wanted to see, I've been hearing through the grapevine of some prices that were coming down. So I was going to check on a lot of that stuff for you guys. And I came across something today. Two things I will spoil. And yeah, it's in my video, but you need to know this, especially if you don't care for our store videos. Walmart has basically doubled their prices overnight on eggs. It has gotten... It's crazy. They're going back up after going up and coming down. But here's the one thing. I never saw anything about Great Value 96-ounce containers of apple juice that were on recall. Went to Walmart today and they were all gone. Every one of them. And I was like, is this on recall too? Because as we know, we all, from going over it the other day, it was the 6-pack bottles. Now, I haven't looked that up, so they may have been added to the list. I don't know. And I was talking to a lady who was scanning items, putting things away and stuff like that. And I said, I went down the aisle some and I saw a 6-pack. Of those Great Value apple juices. And I yelled over to the lady. I said, ma'am, I think these are on recall. There's only one of them here. And she said, no, that's the 96 ounces. The 96-ounce bottles. I said, well, I didn't know about that, but you might want to check this one too. She comes over, she checks it. She's like, thank you. She takes it off. It was one of the ones on recall. And that's why I mentioned this, mostly because we have to make sure, because somebody could have taken that back, right? Or they found it in the store after they pulled down the recall. Somebody who didn't know, could have been a customer, and then just put it back. Put it in the aisle. That was one that was on recall. Now, I will say this. You would not have been able to buy it. She was showing me on her little scanner thing that it kept coming up like safety or something. Basically, recall was coming up red. It would not. And they know it'll say on the screen when you try to buy it that you are not allowed to buy this. It's on recall and a bunch of other stuff. But if I hadn't seen that, it would have sat there. And I started thinking of something else too, okay? And I take this with I started thinking, okay? Now, I didn't mention this in the video, okay? So we're going to talk about it for just a second. There's a lot of theft these days. There's a lot of theft. And when I left, I was thinking, of what if somebody did actually get that, okay? Maybe if they left the store or if they stole it, right? Then you have apple juice that is on recall, right, that has been stolen. And if something happened to that person, then there's a good chance they may try to sue you for something that they didn't even buy. And I know that's a bad look both ways, but that's why this needs to be taken very seriously. All of these recalls, everything that's going on, everybody needs to make sure, and I understand accidents happen, and the chances of somebody stealing apple juice, I don't know these days. I mean, there's crazy people out there. But, and hopefully that tells, and I know probably people who are doing that don't pay attention to any of the recalls or any of that stuff, but this is something that could have potentially happened, and we have to think of that scenario too. Guys, make sure you're paying attention. Make sure you are checking. We'll continue to keep you updated on any more of this information. This is disturbing, and we're finding this in more and more companies that we have trusted for many, many years. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great night.